Hello, welcome to Dare to Listen. These are conversations about self discovery, inner transformations, and our connections with the unseen. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. In this episode, it's a conversation with a fellow human design student, someone who's been deep in human design exploration, experimenting, studying, and sharing what she knows with the world since about 2021. And this conversation spans a wide range. Aside from looking deeper at Deena's chart and how she experiences various, say, her sixth line profile nature, her channel of struggle, and also her deep wisdom with gate 27 as her personality sun. This conversation was so fun and so expansive. We also look at how it is that Deena noticed how the beings who have crossed, as well as the different moments of life experiences, brought her to feel inspired and feel supported. Okay, everybody, before we jump into the show, there are a few snippets from the fuller conversation that I offer here at the very, very beginning. Okay, here we go with the first snippet. Like when I'm working with somebody or I'm working to explain the brilliance of anything that's white in a chart, it's like there's so much capacity for sophistication there. And that to me is the, maybe back to the conversation about 19, like there's such a sensitivity in our whiteness or in our undefined or white. Anyway, for some reason my head's like, stop saying white. But there's something that's really beautiful. I talk about it as like a screen door, versus like a closed window. And like in the white flexible areas of ourselves, we are experiencing other. And, that life journey of experiencing other can develop into such a sophistication of, this person's 57 really resonates for me and this one's no thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And another snippet.
And it's just so helpful because it does depersonalize things. It can be helpful to just to constantly keep taking that step back.
Yeah.
And to find ways to be okay with like what is, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm just going to thread this needle a little bit because I'm imagining there's people who know not very little about human design. And so just to like stretch out a little bit what maybe is meant by the impersonality of it is like if somebody has such a power in their chart, like they're very fixed, they have a lot of defined centers versus somebody is open and has lots of openness in their centers. It's like, I'm not trying to off gas all of this power, y'all. This is me being me, or somebody who's an individualistic, which is a topic I'm really curious for us to go to, and the like la deafness, like that's part of who we are, and all of us have versions of that. And so the impersonality of this person is being themselves and knowing that they're being themselves and how can I meet them where and who they are. Another snippet.
So actually on the very day of my Saturn return, I was pregnant and I was on my way to work. And I fell asleep while I was driving.
Oh, wow.
And I drove through a telephone pole. I sheared it. It rode the top of my vehicle.
Whoa.
And amazingly, so in that moment, and this is where I think my 3828 comes in and it can either be like act now or don't act now. So when I saw the telephone pole coming to me, it was just a sense of like, oh, okay, like this is it, like surrender of
Ah.
nothing to do. Um, so I wasn't, you know, tense. And I think because of that, I ended up with like no
Mm.
injuries. I had the tiniest scratch on my knuckle.
Mm.
Blood pressure was not elevated. Um, and we were both totally fine.
Huh.
But very much in keeping with Saturn, um, and we could bring in some astrology layers there, but I will refrain. um, it's like a wake up call.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was definitely not living according
Mm.
to my nature. I was
Mm.
definitely trying to be a generator.
Mm.
Um, and I did not have the capacity. And so much in dealing with the 27, because it's like you cannot take care of anyone if you are not taking
Mm.
care of yourself.
Mm.
And, like who do you have to blame for falling asleep at the wheel
Ah.
but yourself? Like I was not making sure that I was well enough rested and taking care of myself. So from that point, like the very fundamental lesson, line one of 27 is like self-care is the basis
Yeah.
from which care for all others flows. Um,
Another snippet.
and then second piece is just the professor. The professor is so much a 6-2 to me. Like I
Ah.
want to be the
Ah.
professor from The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Like he's so like sort of weird, but also wise, and like you don't even really know like what does he know? Like does he
Huh.
know more, or is he actually kind of maybe just a little crazy? Like can we trust him? I'm like that's the 6-2 I want to be.
Oh, wow. And let's start the show. Deena. Deena Preston.
Hi, Nave.
Hi, sweetheart. I kind of don't know how to introduce us. Like, we sat in classrooms together virtually, and now we're here. So, I'm curious, one, to invite you to introduce yourself, like how it is that you want to be known in this public way.
Oh, that's like such a big, big invitation, I guess. So my name's Deena Preston. I don't know how I want to be known. I've been studying human design since
Mm.
December of 2021, which is when my sister introduced me to it, and
Oh.
and she is often the one that introduces me to things where I'm like, ooh, and go on a whole thing with it. Um, but I've been studying for a good while, and also homeschooling my two girls, um, just a little bit before I found
Mm.
human design is when I started homeschooling them, and so they've kind of been coinciding together and help. It's been helping me so much.
Oh, good.
Um, and previously, I have run some like individual events
Mm.
centered around human design
Mm.
and really around like telling stories, like
Ah.
contemplating placements and then like sharing our stories,
Ah.
which I love doing. And I also ran about a 2-year study group that was followed the same format. Like we're gonna look at this next month, so
Ah.
like read about it, look at where it falls in your own chart, reflect on it,
Mm.
and then we come together and share stories. And I love doing both of those things, but I took a little bit of a hiatus. Maybe last spring is when I was paused that and just started studying a lot more. And really, that's where I am right now. So, yeah,
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm curious since we're here, like, how has your education journey gone? Like,
sure.
I'll say for me, when I first had my first reading, and I'm curious what your sister's chart is. I don't know if you want to say what her profile and type is.
Sure. She's a 1-3 generator, sacral generator, but she's a triple split.
Okay. I was like, because the person who I came to know human design through is a manifester. And so anyway, and she's 4/6. So there's a part of me that's like just wanted to satisfy that mental curiosity. More am curious, what your learning style or learning inroad has been.
Sure. Um, I, for me, I feel like I always have to like go and dig into the thing first myself
Mm.
to even determine if like, do I
Ah.
want to spend money on this? Do I want to get more invested with my time? So I did a lot of that, like digging around on the internet, which of course now I know is like a dangerous thing to do. You don't know like what
Oh.
the sources are. Um, but I did that for a little while. It was probably only a month or two, and then I found Amanda Barnett from Barney and Flo. Have you come across her at all? No.
Probably like did a search on a website and probably got content, that way, but
Yeah,
nothing
yeah.
beyond that. Yeah.
She has. I think she calls it. She might call it the collective too.
Oh.
But she has a just basically a whole container of which really suited my style. Like you log in, it's a membership, and there's just
Oh.
all of this information there.
Got it.
And she wove in some gene key stuff. She had
Hmm.
some alternate descriptions of I Ching things.
Uh-huh.
Wove in a lot of stuff from other modalities that she
Hmm.
had learned. And actually, to this day, one of the most helpful things I've ever read for me personally, I think it was just like helpful practices by like line.
Mm.
And so being aligned to body, one of the things she had there was like a meditative practice where you um, basically pretend you're seaweed, like, and let your spine just sort of
Oh.
flow. So, like, just sitting down and
Huh.
pretending to be seaweed. And actually, that has been like such a fun and helpful thing for me that I come back to on occasion. So, shout out
Oh.
to Amanda Barnett for that one. And I think I was in that for a year. It was like a
Mm.
year-long membership.
Oh, okay.
And somewhere along the way, I found John and Amy's podcast. And then it was
Mm.
like, I feel the truth of what you are saying. So, and they've continued to be that source for me. So I did all of the foundation
Yeah.
courses with them
Yeah.
and then have continued on in their art of seeing.
Yeah.
So,
Wow. And did you
yeah.
have an interest or pull to do any of the analyst training? Like some people feel curious and other people are like, I got what I
Right.
need.
I like, um, hmm, it just depends. Like, I like that John and Amy have that background, and there's other people that I really appreciate who have that background. Like Richard Beaumont on YouTube is
Mm.
one who I really love his videos and have found him to be super helpful and informative also. Um, but there was when I finished the foundation courses, I just didn't feel pulled in that direction, and I
Yeah.
didn't even really like know like where do I go
Uh-huh.
from
Uh-huh.
now? And I actually emailed John and Amy, and I was like, which I don't really feel like that's what I'm supposed to do right now. Like,
Mm-hmm.
do you know of anything or do you have any thoughts on this? And pretty shortly after that, they
Ah.
told me that they were planning on doing this practicum. And I was like, oh, good. Well, then in the meantime, I'll just live life and I'll wait for you. And whatever you guys decide to do, I'll probably be like, sounds great.
Yeah. I mean, I've been in practicums before, not with Amy and John, a different space. And I just am so well. Let's name it. So Amy Lee and John Cole of Human Design Collective, and so you're referring to their podcast as well as they have a really robust way of holding the education on their website. So videos you can watch at your scale or on your timeline, and then meet in person, etc. So I think it's really beautiful how they hold it, as well as who they are as people and how they hold the information. Um, and what I really appreciate about the practicum is it doesn't feel like there's an agenda. It's if you want to see how this information is integrating for you, so I would imagine it's intended for people who have done the foundation courses. And when we say foundation courses, in case you're not familiar with what we mean, it's the Living Your Design, which is really like that first class to anchor you into the energy centers, the type, the profile, etc. But kind of feels more surface, like a good entry pathway in, and then deeper into the other layers of channels and what does it mean to be a split definition versus single, all those things. So it's an iterative step deeper, deeper, deeper while holding the surface. So when human design people talk about the surface, that's profile, type, authority, strategy. Anything else, would you say, for surface?
I mean, center
Oh, yeah, yeah.
definition. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And so what I'm pointing to when I'm saying the practicum is, whether you're somebody such as myself who's done the analyst training, not with AHDS, but with somebody that I felt like really held the knowledge and knows the knowledge. And anyway, so kind of depending upon where you're bringing this information into one's life, it's like, let's dig our teeth in and like practice and like see like how are these things playing out. And I've not seen anybody offer what Amy and John are offering. It feels like we're doing a long infomercial for them, which I'm
That's
totally here
okay.
for.
I'm good with that.
Well, and I'm curious. I feel myself want to share with you how it is that I found Amy and John. Are you interested to know that?
Sure,
Yeah.
yes.
So I'm somebody who feels really comfortable with psychics or people who see more than I see.
Hmm.
And I had done 2 readings with this woman who's got like, year-long waiting list, etc. And her name's Lynn Austin. I don't know if she's still offering readings, but I said to her like, "Hey, I'm thinking about human design, but I'm not really sure like how I want to go about doing this." And she's like, "I'm hearing the name John." And I was like, "Listen, lady, you've been spot on everywhere else in these conversations. You're going to give me like the neutralist of neutral names." And when I went to the IHDS website, he was the only John. And so that was my
Really?
pathway into Amy and John. And yeah, I deeply trust them. I deeply trust them. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that so much integrity
Yes.
there.
Yes.
And I just do appreciate that there's a questioning atmosphere that they
Mm,
create.
mm,
So like the curiosity that you should have, I think, in like all of life isn't lost. It's
yeah.
not like it's this. Like
Right.
um, we'll give you the information, but like let's then explore it together. And I really do appreciate that. It feels so much less dogmatic,
Mm,
and yet so grounded in
yeah.
like real knowledge. So yeah,
Yeah.
love them.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and what I also appreciate too, maybe to your point about dogmatism, is um, I sense that I can track them hearing information in a way that maybe they wouldn't have come to speak it that way. And
Mhm.
there isn't that like shutting the door, my way or the highway kind of thing. It's like, oh, yeah, I can see that. And kind of the invitations or the freeness that comes, as a student or in those containers. So, yes,
Yeah.
Amy and John, good people. So, some other questions I'm curious to hear you speak to is how it is that you bring human design into your life. Like, is it solely for you? Is it with your family? Is it out professionally, et cetera, et cetera?
Sure. I mean, it's like all of those things.
Mm,
It's changed the way that I see myself.
Mm-hmm.
my relationship with myself.
Mm-hmm.
It's changed my awareness of the others in my life,
Mm-hmm.
and it in general is just kind of the framework through which I see like everything now. It's one of those things I feel like that once you start seeing things
Mm-hmm.
that way, it's like impossible to stop. And even if you're like, okay, I'm getting a little ridiculous, I'm gonna pause this for a second. It just like you can't help it. It's like, there's that
Yeah.
that's happening right now.
Yeah, totally.
So, and it's just so helpful because it does depersonalize things.
Mm.
And, I mean, they do still happen. And in that moment, sometimes it's like, why does this thing have to be this thing? But it can be helpful to just to constantly like
Mm.
keep taking that step back,
Yeah.
um, and to find ways to be okay with like what is, I would
Mm-hmm.
say.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm just going to thread this needle a little bit because I'm imagining there's people who know not very little about human design. And so just to like stretch out a little bit what maybe is meant by the impersonality of it is like if
Sure.
somebody has such a power in their chart, like they're very fixed, they have a lot of defined centers versus somebody is open and has lots of openness in their centers. It's like I'm not trying to off gas all of this power, y'all. This is me being me, or somebody who's an individualistic, which is a topic I'm really curious for us to go to, and the like la 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 deafness, like that's part of who we are, and all of us have versions of that. And so the impersonality of this person is being themselves and knowing that they're being themselves and how can I meet them where and who they are is how I would
Yeah.
describe it. Would there be anything that you'd add to that?
Uh, no, yeah, basically, like we can stop trying to force
Mm,
things to be what they are not.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. I'm curious about homeschooling.
Sure.
As far as yeah, maybe the how that came as a choice that you all in your family decided, and maybe how you see human design interacting with that, if at all. Maybe it doesn't.
Oh, it does. It definitely does. Um, so I had been working as an electrician, and
Oh.
Keith is an electrician too. That's actually how we met.
Mm.
And when I had Tawny, I just felt like so I rewind. I had her during my Saturn return,
Ah.
not specifically on the day, but which I did have a specific event on the day, but during the
Huh.
whole time frame. And so that was like that life changing, everything's different now event for me. And I remember like knowing I had to go back to work and just feeling like so much sorrow over that. Like
Ah.
that's not what is supposed to happen
Mm.
now. And then I, I mean, it all worked out. I kept working for like 3 years, and
Huh.
in that way, that enabled Keith, my partner, to start his own business.
Mm.
Um, so like I was able to support us. He was able to like without worrying about the pressure of
Yeah.
like I have to make money for my family right now. He was able to then start the business. Um, and then I knew I wanted to be home with her,
Mm.
and I felt like I was missing so much of those early years. Um, though thinking back, like I breastfed for about 1 year, and I can really see like if I had been home, I don't know. Be because the like the pressure and the need to constantly respond, I could see how that would have been like so
Ah.
depleting to me that I might have like actually struggled to do as good of a job as I did. So I'm like, okay, that was like actually probably a gift.
Huh.
And so it all worked out. But after the 3 years, I knew that I wanted to be home with her. And her stepsister, that was right around COVID time.
Uh,
So Tani was born in 2018, and then COVID hit. Addie was in cyber school for 1 year, and her grandma was helping with that. And
mm,
then I was like, I know I want to be home with
mm,
Tani anyway. I did really well in school when I was in school. Like, I
mm,
feel like this is something that I can do that has purpose. Um, and so that's what happened. I left after 3 years, and you know, it's been great because Keith has flexibility with his job.
mm,
I have flexibility. The kids have flexibility, and it's just allowed us to like have so many more adventures than we would have
mm,
otherwise,
mm,
and to really just do things in a different way. It's interesting because I with all of them, I form the 214. So I have the two and they all have the 14. And it's like
interesting.
we're going in this really unique direction. And it's for
Wow.
sure true as a family.
Wow. I want to bring up your chart now, if that's okay.
Sure.
Okay. It's interesting to hear kind of the details unpacked. Like I can look at a chart, but then to hear how somebody's navigating life or the different um, experiences that are arriving. Because there's a way that I'm hearing, like maybe you're 19.
Mm.
Um, I mean, definitely the 28, 38. Yeah. Do you feel the 19 as it relates to your family? I mean, I know gate
Yeah.
27 being your personality sun is like such the focus. Um, but there's something about the 19 and the sensitivities of 19 that I could
Hmm.
imagine could, I don't, oh, look, you've got 45 twice.
Yes.
Yeah,
And in
that's
the
right
same
there.
line.
Yeah, and four, right, 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 right. Yeah. So 45, as I've thought of it, is the teacher, the educator.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anyway, yeah, I'm curious about how you track 819, if that's kind of a prominence or something that stands out to you.
Yeah. I mean, de I would say I feel the 19, especially in that line too, where it's like a want to be of service.
Mm,
So I do feel that almost towards everyone, I would say, like there just in general is a desire to be of service.
mm,
But the 19, like with kids and
ah,
yeah, just with Keith too, like there's this awareness of like what needs aren't being met, like
mm,
are they or like what are they maybe not even aware of, but like I can kind of track like and it's even like the simplest things like thirst, hunger, did you go to the bathroom, are you sleepy, like
yeah.
all of those things. And then it also escalates up to like what are the higher level needs
Hmm.
need to be met. um yeah, I love that gate and line, and I do see it.
Yeah. Well, and I'll say for me, you know this, but for those who are listening, 49 is my personality sun, and I have a little fear of 19 to be honest, because there's a way like
Oh.
I'm already root activated, but the 19 just feels like it's I don't know, it accelerates it somehow, like the sensitivity just gets ramped up even more, and I have such a sensitivity of the needs of those that I'm around that for some reason I feel myself more comfortable over in the 49 side than the 19 side. So, um, yeah, yeah. But
Hmm.
as I
That's
hear,
interesting.
well, but as I hear you speak about it, it lands for me from that really kind, attentive, loving space where I think what I track in my trajectory around tribal circuitry is the codependency.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I could see how that would be a potential there.
Hmm.
I don't feel that in myself. I
Great.
don't know if anyone else would say that they see it in me. Like I'm not saying that it's not a thing,
Mm-hmm.
but it's really like I mean, even with my cat, and the like sensitivity to animals is
Right.
there too. Just like, I could tell like when he's like, I just need your love right now.
Ah.
Um, and that's maybe I wonder if do I create codependency, Name? Are people like, you know how to fulfill my needs?
Well, and it's interesting, right? As a second line, getting the feedback, that it's really helpful or it can be really helpful for a second line to see themselves reflected. So I'm in no way meaning to say that's what I see in you. It's more me naming for myself the when I'll say it this way. So and I'm moving us towards talking to your sixth line because there's just something
Sure.
that I'm tracking that I want to give voice to. But before I do that, um, so I'm always going to be a third line. As a 3-5 profile, I'm always trying things on and figuring it out. And my ego center or will center is different than yours. I have the 45, but I don't have an activation in my ego. But that need to prove, and then the fact that I've got so much tribal circuitry, so not only 49, but the 3254 activation. Anyway, it's like I started career wise in crisis centers. So, doing legal advocacy there. And it was like I got at the center of people in crisis, and I wasn't sustained or rooted enough in my own infrastructure to be able to know this is them. Well, I knew it was them, but I felt the maybe fifth line hero ness of me come in and want to like, savior it. Um, so anyway, this detail about codependency has been a thread of contemplation for me for a while, and maybe a little bit like I'm throwing darts like where can I put this on the chart? Is it tribal circuitry? I don't know, but that's
Okay.
that's kind of what's happening in me. So wanting to be accountable there.
But to your point with the sixth line, and especially in that
Mm,
in gate 27, line six,
mm-hmm,
um, even though it's a learning process, like ultimately, I wouldn't want anyone to be dependent upon me. Like the whole
mm,
goal is to create humans that can function
ah,
on their own in in every way that they are able to. Like I can support you in the ways that you are not yet able to care for yourself,
mm,
or under these circumstances you are not able to do this for yourself. But ultimately that's the goal, like for you to be a completely well-formed
mm,
human, and you can function without um, feeling like you constantly need someone
mm,
stepping in
mm,
to pick up the pieces. So
mm.
again, it's a learning process, but
Yeah. Well,
that's the goal.
even the frequency of how I'm experiencing you name all of that, I really feel how grounded you are in the truth of gate 27. Like I don't know. I mean, I have 50 and I don't have 27 consistently, but yeah, it's really great to hear you articulate that cuz there's nothing about how you're saying that feels performative. Like this is the expression of 27. I don't feel that at all. I feel the embodiment of this is how 27 about how you might speak to how human design has evolved or given words to your way of knowing a sense of spirituality or like something bigger than the mundane. you know, I put wires in a wall so that we can turn the electricity on.
Well, I think if so much, uh, if so many of the spiritual traditions point to um, there being a plan or some kind of organizing factor,
Mm.
I feel like you can see that um, in the body graph. I think you can see it in astrology too. Like there's all these patterns, and it's mathematical. It's
Mm.
like fascinating. Um, you know, that I can, if I know when someone's born, that I can plot these points out. That's
Mm.
that's fascinating. Um, and it just affirms to me that like it's we're all where we're meant to be
Mm.
in any specific moment.
Mm.
Um, it just makes me less concerned or less worried um, about those existential questions. It's sort of just like it's not even that it's necessarily the answer, but that it's a source of questions that you can like contemplate probably for the rest of your life. And then also the piece with authority. If we have some sort of connection to God or a way to talk to God, a personal relationship with God, I feel like it is authority. Um,
Mm.
or at least I would say that that's the way that I experience it.
Mm.
Um, you know, if there's a whisper coming to me or a nudge,
Mm-hmm.
um, it very much feels like
Uh,
those splenic things. Um, I don't know. I went in all sorts of directions
that's great.
there. But yeah, I don't know. It is just fascinating. I feel like I've gotten to the point with spirituality where I'm just like, I'm okay with it being a mystery
Mm.
and not knowing what the answer is, and just like exploring that for the rest of my life is an okay thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
And human design is just one of the tools that like allows me to do
Yeah. Yeah. And they're so interesting to me now. Now my attention is focused on the fact that gate 10 is activated.
that. Oh yeah, 4 times.
Yeah, and so much
Yep.
variety too. Yeah.
Mhm. It's interesting. When I first started learning about human design and reading like the gate qualities,
Mm.
10 is what resonated with me the most, that I felt like the most me
Huh.
was gate 10. Mhm.
That's great.
And interesting that it's not, you know, part of a channel, but I do feel it really strongly.
Mm. Yeah, and maybe before we go to this your 6 line profile, I'm curious the question about your splits. There's is it just 57?
Yeah,
That's
that is my only bridge.
yeah. So I'm curious how you've tracked or what you notice when you're bridged. Like what happens differently in yourself?
Mm. I could talk about this bridge forever. Like I have so many layers to this bridge. But in this specific question, I think in keeping with the nature of the 57, it's really pretty subtle.
Mm.
Um, like if it's a transit, I will feel it more as a quality that I have.
Mm.
And the 5710, the first time I read what 5710 was about, I texted my sister right away and said, my whole life has been not so. because I really had like just been trying to play out that full channel,
Mm.
and feeling like it was something I was meant to have with consistency, and being like confused and upset that I didn't,
Mm.
um, in terms of like, so 5710 has a lot to do with like the perfection of forms. So you see people who are in design and in
Yeah.
the arts tend to have it a lot. I have an associate's degree in interior design,
Ah.
went to art school for a period of time, have always had a huge interest and draw to both design and the arts, and felt like that is what I was supposed to do.
Ah, I see.
And when it's there, it feels like it definitely feels like a superpower. Like I know, I intuitively know like what I should do to
Mm.
make this more beautiful or whatever, or what's the right self-expression. And then when it's gone, I would just be like, why? Why can't I do this all the
Mm.
time?
Mm.
Or like, why am I fucking up? Or
Mm.
and that's a funny thing, in to feel like you're supposed to have all the time. Like I'm supposed to have intuition all the time. And it not like being there, it was, there's other qualities in the body graph that it would probably be a little bit easier to cultivate.
Mm.
But intuition, it feels like one of those things that you're just gonna have or not.
Mm.
Um, not to be confused with all the ways that we can tune into our body, um, and get those subtle insights.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that was the case.
Mm-hmm.
And then when it's coming from people, I don't even know necessarily if I notice it that much as like a feeling of completion.
Mm.
I maybe become like the best Pictionary charades partner. Like, I know. Now I know what to do.
Oh, that's
Um,
interesting.
but and especially because the 57 can be connected to those other
Mm-hmm.
channels, it's like
Sure.
it's interesting. So my stepdaughter has the 3457.
Uh-huh.
I don't necessarily know that I feel like I tap into that as a
Okay.
part of me.
Uh-huh.
It just really feels like that's her own
Mm.
thing, and I'm not really playing any
Mm.
kind of role in that. Um, so I would say it's just very subtle. Probably works differently if someone has the 57 hanging.
Ah, sure.
Um, and I would say it's more beneficial or interesting to me, perhaps, that it's become a place where I can assess other people's
Yeah.
clarity and intuitive sense,
Mm.
which, I mean, both John and Amy have the 57. Interesting that I was so drawn to them
Mm.
without knowing that.
Right.
Um, and particularly in class,
Mm.
Amy, she comes across like, for me personally, and this probably has something to do with the individual circuitry too, but just like a clear bell ringing
Ah.
in like silence. Like it's just
Mm-hmm.
so clear.
Mm.
Um, so being able to assess that in people is interesting.
Mm.
And I feel like I also have that capacity within design and art. Um,
Mm.
the ability to assess um, when someone is really like intuitively, like they just know. Like,
Uh-huh.
what is going to be the thing that is going to make this perfect?
Uh-huh.
Um, and I think that that is something that I have a good judgment around because of that bridge.
Well, and I guess what I'm also curious about is to ask, how much have you explored your cognition, being outer vision?
Oh, outer. I mean, I think that that is very much related. So
Mm-hmm.
my cognition being outer vision, and the capacity. So in the third line, um, or third tone.
I know I get color and tones. Yeah. Uh,
But having that that quality
Tone.
of the third line, seeing what's wrong and
Ah,
being able
yes.
to pick up on that. And so, perhaps that's a capacity there, like being able to see when nothing is wrong. And it's
Mm.
just everything is beautiful and perfect. Um, but yeah, that's actually been something I've been digging into a little bit more deeply, and realizing how important it is for me to like daily be taking in things that I find beautiful,
Ah, yeah.
um, and that they're being tied to the dietary regimen, that it's actually nourishing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, I guess the reason why my thoughts were going there is hearing the curiosity around interior design. I could also sense a potential that that need for the aesthetics to match what feels in resonance or in beauty to you could also kind of fuel or motivate the uh, this as or interior design or the aesthetics of a scenario matching what you need them to match. So there's something
Hmm.
chicken and eggy about that for my brain. So, but
Yeah. Uh, I wish I could say that when someone comes around with a
ah,
57, I feel like I'm a manifester and I can just make things happen, but it's not true.
I know, I know. Yeah,
But
when
I can see how that's what I thought I was supposed to be my
mm,
entire life. Because if the 57 was there,
yeah,
that's the design I would have. I would be a manifester.
right.
So
Yeah.
definitely this profound belief that I am supposed to go and make things happen.
Yeah.
Um, so that has been, it's just been wonderful, to
Mm,
like let a lot of things go.
yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, and something that I appreciated, and I think it was probably Amy in some of the early foundational courses, I think she was unpacking this um, kind of like in the conversation of definition. So, anybody who's got some split, triple split, or quad, that there can be a reflector quality to the area of the bridges. And so, I guess what I'm hearing you name is, you've got a capacity to know whose 57 you like or whose 57
Mhm.
works for you. And I guess
Mhm.
how I've noticed that in myself is it's like the qualities of a 20 or a 36 that I'm around. There's a maturity that these learning journeys of these gates can offer. And if somebody's, maybe at the early stages or maybe are a little awkward in their expression of the gate 20, I'm like, no
Mhm.
thanks. Rather, if somebody's like got that, and maybe that's what you're pointing to with Amy and that crystal bell and the
Mhm.
silence. Yeah, like when I'm working with somebody or I'm working to explain the brilliance of anything that's white in a chart, it's like there's so much capacity for sophistication there. And that to me is the, like, maybe back to the conversation about 19, like there's such a sensitivity in our whiteness or in our undefined or white Anyway, I don't, for some reason my head's like, stop saying white. But yeah, it's, there's something that's really beautiful. I talk about it as like a screen door, versus like a closed window. And like we, in the white flexible areas of ourselves, we get to, or we are experiencing other. And, that life journey of experiencing other can develop into such a sophistication of, yeah, this person's 57 really resonates for me, and this one's no thanks. Yeah.
Hmm. So can I ask you a question?
Oh my God, ask anything.
So I'll preface this with, I think where this phrase and idea is coming from is from a Human Design Collective podcast
Ah,
episode. I think the episode was with Blossom Benedict.
okay.
So I just want to name that.
Yeah.
But with the open 20 and 36 for your bridges,
Yeah.
do you find that when a transit comes through and hooks you up in that way, do you feel like you are like it is a superpower?
Yeah. Gate 36 was in the transits for a long time, for like a long stretch of time. And I just had so much more fuel. So it plays out differently to talk about the splits. Like when I'm in a room with somebody who has a 20 and a 36, I kind of feel hijacked in a
Mm,
sense of like there's a really fast stream going past me and I don't know how to get out of the stream. It's
okay.
like there's like a magnet that's pulled me in, and I'm both really wanting it because I want access to, the full, all of my life force. I want that containment of all of it together. And yet, because it's out of, you know, not that we can control anything, but, I'm not able to moderate the energy flow as much as I sense I could if it were the transit. Not that I can control which planet is activating a gate, but there's something that feels like I have a little bit more autonomy when it's transit versus person. So, yeah, and I'll add another layer. I got really tripped up for a year or so with a body of work with Dr. Eleanor Haspel Portner, where anyway, I won't go into that into great detail, but what she was offering is that your Chiron activation
Mhm.
actually does define life force. And so my Chiron
Oh.
activation is gate 21. And so I was like, hell yeah, I'm a
Hmm.
manifesting generator. Watch me go. And, so it was just such a clusterfuck of 121 in the Chiron. I mean, I just think that in and of itself is a tricky wicket. And that, do I have a defined ego? Do I not? So that was a contemplation for a while that was
Mm.
was a little hard to shake. But yeah, did I answer your question? I feel like I went a little tangential there.
No, I feel like you did.
Okay.
Um, that's an interesting one. My Chiron on the personality side is in gate 12. So if that were true, I would be an emotional manifester, and I do not feel like an emotional manifester. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna say no.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean,
Yeah.
I think that those are interesting placements to look at. I do really like to look at
Mm-hmm.
I'm fascinated with the nodes
Mm-hmm.
and with Chiron,
Mm.
using the human design language for it.
Yeah.
Because certainly I could go and, you know, say my Chiron's in Gemini in I think eighth house.
Mm-hmm.
And that has information for me.
Yeah.
But then the human design gate and line fine tunes it.
Yeah. Well, and similar for me with the north node and south nodes, if I stay in human design, it feels like it communicates one thing. And yet, when I've had an astrology reading and they talk about Cancer in the third house, and I'm like, I don't know that I see gate 53 as a Cancer in the third house. So it's, I guess what I feel like we're speaking to is sometimes you can make an omelet, and sometimes you need to have the spinach on the side and the eggs over easy.
Yes, sure.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Yeah, and it's like whatever's helpful in the moment, I feel
Totally.
like.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah. I never want to bring shame to anything, you know, especially as a third line. I'm like, let's get in there and crack those eggs and see what's inside. Like I'm down for that. Yeah, and I'm just now
That was
catching.
actually, oh, sorry.
Oh no, go for it. Go for it, please.
Uh, I was going to say that was one of the events that I had done previously was
Ah,
looking at people's Chiron placements and using the house system
huh.
and coming up with contemplation questions for each one.
Oh.
And like everybody just like sort of sits and journals, and then we would like come back and share stories, which was amazing. And what
Oh.
was interesting was that so in the Ravi Ching, whenever it's got like the little italicized
Yep.
thing, that's maturing quality. It takes
Yeah.
time. And everyone except for one person in that event had the italicized thing, and we're still working it out. But the
Huh.
person who did not have the italicized information was like, I see where it was, but like, yeah, I kind of worked that out. So interesting.
So I want to make sure that I'm tracking. So now that I have the chart up for you, can you explain what you were saying about the italicized? Like I pulled up your 6.2, and I think we're looking at, what the
Yes.
line
Okay.
companion. Yeah.
I see it. So now that we're seeing it in Maya mechanics, it's what's blue there.
Yep.
So yes, anywhere where you see that,
Mm,
even if the line is not a sixth line, that is still a quality that's going to require maturing.
got
So
it.
it may be something that sort of is changing it and maturing over the course of your life.
And am I remembering correctly that these italicized or blue in Maya mechanics um, don't aren't present in every gate activation?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes,
And so
correct.
what were you saying about the Chiron? Just my quad left was like hiccup, hiccup. I can't hear anymore. So could you say that
Um,
part again?
sure. So, right, in the event that I had done, all of the participants, except for one person, had a gate and line that had an italicized theme, meaning that for all of them, it was something that was going to need to be
Ah,
worked out and matured over time. And everyone who had that felt that way. They were still working with it. It was still
ah,
a sore and tender spot.
got it.
And the one person who did not have that was like, I see where this was a thing for me
Mm,
earlier in my life, but yeah, it's like it's healed. It's fine.
that's great. Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks for landing the plane there.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
let's go to six lines. So, to orient people, if somebody has a six anywhere in their chart, but specifically where I want to bring our conversation now is if it's present in the profile, which you as a 6-2 um, are said in the human design system to have three phases of life. So 0 to Saturn return, and it sounds like with your child and changing jobs or changing how you're interacting with the outer world, um, that your Saturn return was very you it was very clear.
Yeah. So actually on the very day of
Mm.
my Saturn return, I was pregnant and I was on my way to work. And I fell asleep while I was driving.
Oh wow.
And I drove through a telephone pole. I sheared it. It rode the top of my vehicle.
Whoa.
And amazingly, so in that moment, and this is where I think my 3828 comes in and
Mm.
it can either be like act now or don't act now.
Ah.
So when I saw the telephone pole coming to me, it was just a sense of like, oh, okay, like this is it, like surrender of
Ah.
nothing to do. Um, so I wasn't, you know, tense. And I think because of that, I ended up with like no
Mm.
injuries. I had the tiniest scratch on my knuckle.
Mm.
And when the ambulance came and they checked me out, like they couldn't even find my heart rate because it was not elevated. My
Oh.
blood pressure was not elevated. Um, and we were both totally fine.
Huh.
But very much in keeping with Saturn, um, and we could bring in some astrology layers there, but I will refrain. um, it's like a wake up call.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was definitely not living according
Mm.
to my nature. I was
Mm.
definitely trying to be a generator.
Mm.
Um, and I did not have the capacity. And so much in dealing with the 27, because it's like you cannot take care of anyone if you are not taking
Mm.
care of yourself.
Mm.
And like who do you have to blame for falling asleep at the wheel
Ah.
but yourself? Like I was not making sure that I was well enough rested and taking care of myself. So from that point, like the very fundamental lesson, line one of 27 is like self-care is the basis
Yeah.
from which care for all others flows. Um, so yeah, got that one
Wow.
as a kick in the head. Um, and then a couple months later, I had Tawny, and it was like my entire value system changed. Um,
Mm.
John pointed out something interesting once in a reading I had with him about, like on the other side of that 27 being gate 50. And so interesting
Mm-hmm.
that I would phrase it that way,
I
that
know.
the
I heard it.
values
I heard it.
changed. Yeah.
Yeah.
And just what had mattered before no longer mattered.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then an adjustment. So it that part of it was very much like okay, here are your events,
Mm-hmm.
but then like actually going up onto the roof,
Uh-huh.
and the way that I interact with the world changing was a process. I would say that is like a 3 to 5 year process. And if I hadn't met human design when I did,
Mm.
I probably would have thought I was depressed.
Ah.
Because
Right.
when you're a person who just is with the 6 line qualities, I don't know if it's like this for all 6 lines, but in the early part of my life, very much involved as a leader in like lots of different
Mm.
things. Um, throughout the course leading up to that point, and wanting to be involved and wanting to be that for people. Um, and so when there's this shift of like, actually, like I don't know if I really want to do that.
Mm.
It and like not knowing why I felt that way, because
Yeah.
it was like I didn't have any say over that. It was
Uh-huh.
just happening.
Yeah.
um, it was That's a strange thing. So having human design like give language to that, like you are meant to become disengaged, you know,
Mm.
because to me, like, okay, disengagement does sound like it could be a symptom of like of depression or something like that. And so it was very helpful. And now I'm just like really relaxed in it.
Yeah.
I don't feel like there's anything wrong with it. This is where I'm meant to be right now. So I'm just really grateful that I met it when
Yeah.
I did.
As I hear the car accident and the internal experience, it lands as like a near death experience. Like just the,
Yeah.
before the accident, after the accident, just the instant clarity that I feel like I
Mm.
hear. Is that okay to say? I don't want to cross a
Sure.
boundary with you. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, can't say that I had like flashes or any of the experiences that I've heard people talk about, but it was just yeah, a sense of like peace and acceptance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, and,
Um,
go ahead.
I was, I think you might just find this interesting.
Please.
Um, so I was driving my stepfather's vehicle. My mother had gifted it to me after he had passed,
Uh,
and which um, hadn't been that long, maybe only like a year or so
mm.
that he had passed from pancreatic cancer. And interestingly, he had wanted a grandchild like more than anything.
Ah.
Um, and she had also given us the couches from their house, and he died on one of the couches.
Huh.
I love that's not something that bothered me. Like I loved Don. I wasn't creeped out by that or anything
Sure.
like that. Um, but what was interesting is that once we moved them into our house, our TV started like turning on its own.
Yeah.
Like we would come into the room and it would be like on the screensaver type thing, showing you
Yeah.
like it had been on for a while. Um,
Huh.
and I mean, that was he watched TV in that spot, and especially like during the end, that was something he was doing quite a lot.
Yeah.
And the last time that it turned on was that morning of the
Aw.
car accident. So I just really felt like not necessarily that he was like warning me, but like
Mm.
that there was like a process there of him like looking out for me. Hmm.
Yeah. Wow. Really
Hmm.
special. I'm glad you included that. Wow. Now I'm like, is Tawny's middle name Dawn? Like,
No, it's not. But I just
no, I'm teasing. I don't mean that
no,
in a rude way.
no. It's it's just interesting. I don't know if you've had this experience, but I do feel like maybe even more so than when he was alive. Like
Mm.
I feel connected to him,
Yeah.
um, almost yeah, like we're soul family, like that he was there to play that role.
Yeah.
Um, and it's just interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it feels like this is a rabbit hole we could continue exploring, just like if you were in a different car, would that have looked like a
Right.
different, like, I'm just making that jump. But yeah, so you've been talking about being, well, before we go to more of the sixth line, so when you say Saturn return, I just want to lay the foundation that we're talking about astrological cycles, and Saturn return is like the first big one. And then the second one is Uranus opposition, Chiron return, then second Saturn return. And as I'm hearing you describe your Saturn return, I'm like, ding, 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 my Uranus opposition. Like, I know my Saturn return was a big deal, but it doesn't stand out to me as much as Uranus. Like, anyway, I had some similar that I won't go into now, but yeah, these astrological cycles are such a fascination for me, and I think it's
Hmm.
also a big fascination for me with six lines because they're such key indicators or pivot or transition points for people who are curious or open to be interested. And what I wanted to ask you now is six lines to me feel very spiritual because of the like we're going to do this roof thing because y'all are down there and we know more is happening out past the roof. And I guess I'm curious, has that been a quality of knowing that you've experienced through your life, or has it arrived more around your Saturn return? I guess I'm curious.
Um, well, I would say it might be an interesting exercise for you to look up lots of different six lines, like famous six lines, because I think that it really can depend on
Hmm.
like how comfortable the sixth line is in the different phases.
Hmm.
But for me, I will say like in the third line phase, no, not spiritual,
Mm-hmm.
ridiculed. Spirituality was very
Ah.
practical. Got a lot of Virgo placements, Virgo South Node, Virgo Moon, Virgo Midheaven. So super practical and like, what are we doing right now?
Uh-huh.
Um, and and actually that's been part of the difficulty for me with human design, um, and astrology and any of these things that I'm exploring right now is because I had such an issue with talking about them
Ah.
because I felt like weird or like, like I'm not going to be taken
Mm.
seriously, um, when everything before has been so much of what is surface,
Mm-hmm.
um, which Gemini Chiron in the eighth house. Feeling stupid. We're talking about
Ah.
occult things. Um, so that's been part of my thing. Definitely did not. I shouldn't say that there wasn't a spirituality. Like I remember like being a kid and like sitting out in the woods and just like feeling like I was communing with the ferns, like that
Mm-hmm.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
Um, but as I got, into like teenage years and then my 20s, just very dismissive of a lot of that.
Mm.
Um, not a part of the journey. But definitely since the roof, like, and again, if my south node is in Virgo, that makes my north node in Pisces. So,
Ah.
uncomfortable energy for me at first,
Uh-huh.
um, but like so healing and
Mm.
absolutely the medicine that is necessary.
Mm. Wow.
Yeah.
It's like I want to like fast forward to when you're 55.
It will be interesting. I'm curious too.
Yeah. Well, and it's also, are you planning to do, and I can edit this out, are you planning to do the art of seeing around planets and like astrology?
Transits,
Yeah.
astrology. I
Yeah.
will probably do the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was the one that I was most excited for because astrology is like where I have the least grounded or capacity.
Mm.
Um, like I don't know if this is your experience, but sometimes I'll show somebody the human design chart and like, "Rah," and that's what happens to me with astrology. So, anyway, but I'm so fascinated by these astrological cycles, like so fascinated. I'll just give you the short end of it. Like, um, knew that my trajectory of living in Chicago was going to change. It was where I was all the way, 0 to 43 and or 42, I don't remember now, but I was starting to feel like I'm going to leave, but it wasn't clear. And then I supported my grandma. She was in her death journey. And then at my grandma's memorial was the actual date, kind of like your accident, um, of the Uranus opposition. And mom went into the emergency room, ICU, for a week. Like, it was like, oh, am I doing mom's death journey on the actual day.
Oh,
So it was just
wow.
like all of those things happened like so lined up. But what I'm so grateful about is in my being, I was like, yeah, but you've been praying for life to look different. And even though
Mm.
it felt like the rug had been pulled out from under me, I was like, yeah, but we don't know where we're going. What's happening? Like there was a gift of maybe surrender, like you're speaking to. There was a oh, okay. Because, like, while my mom was in the emergency room, like, we were farming. I was 10 years a farmer in Chicago before I moved. And so my ex and I, it was her income. So it was like, I didn't have money in the bank. It was just like all these reasons why you're going to move, you're going to do what, like just wasn't a
Yeah.
logical thing. But mom in the emergent or in ICU was like, hey guys, I got a car, do you want it? And it was just like all these things going off to say like, your life is stable here, you can stay, or you can take this, pathway and see where it takes you. And I had seen a woman, like a medium through an astrology class. Interesting. I was like trying to pay attention, but it wasn't fully landing. And I knew that she knew stuff. And so I did a reading with her because there weren't people in my life that I could talk about how my relationship felt so grounded, so stable. And yet I could feel the ceiling that my head was hitting. And so I just like laid it all out, and she kind of interrupted my flow and said like, I don't know why, but my guides are showing me you in Santa Fe, New Mexico. I had
Wow.
never come here. I knew nothing about it other than it was hot compared to Chicago. Not true, because it's high desert. It's not Albuquerque
Yeah.
hot. Anyway, that was so there was all these like seed plantings, and then the grandma, and then the mom, and all of that. So that's what helped me be like, whoa, maybe Santa Fe time is now. And yeah, it was so clear. And I think the other interesting detail that ties into um, human design that maybe you've caught with your substructure is Santa Fe is high elevation, and so I'm
Okay.
active mountains, and so
Oh,
it was like my environment just totally landed, with the astrological cycle, and I wouldn't have put myself in Santa Fe. Like, yeah, it was these outside influences that were just kind of like dropping seeds in the pond, and yeah, there they went.
don't know where my mountain is, but I'm ready for it. I can feel the not rightness
Do
of where
you?
I am. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yep, yep, yep.
yeah.
Well, and it's interesting because Keith is also passive mountains,
Ah,
and yeah, he gets irritated by like so much,
mm,
but where we are, and I'm like, I know that this is not it, but like I don't, I guess whenever it's supposed to happen, it'll happen.
yeah.
So, well, we shall see.
Yeah, so I'm curious to ask you about your gate 44.
Okay.
And what I'm curious about is uh, the ancestral, the way that the gate is keynoted as holding ancestral memory. Like that's how I've heard it unpacked is like part of how the instincts are part of what informs the instinctual quality of gate 44 is because it holds or keeps stored the ancestral genetics of a person. And I'm curious if that's been a place you've explored yourself or know for yourself.
Um, Not specifically through that lens.
Mm.
And it being my Pluto, I
Mm,
feel like
sure.
there's probably like some work there that I will have to do. But what I can say is that, and I don't know if it might show up in other places in my chart, but there's just like an awareness of what people
Mm.
are trying to do or are going to do, um, even if it's not like being expressly stated or demonstrated. Um, and like with my daughter and my stepdaughter, both of them have at various times been like, how do you know? And my response is mom magic. So I think of 44 as my mom magic. Like,
Wonderful.
and I think it's not even, it is just like an awareness of like what things have meant or implied in the past.
Mm.
Um, and maybe to your question about the ancestral piece, it's not even like necessarily that I had to have experienced it before
Ah.
to know
Uh-huh.
that that's what's going on.
Well,
If
and
that
I've
makes sense.
also, yeah, no, totally. It's like it's steeped in your genes or in your DNA, and you're the being that's kind of stewarding it. Yeah. And what I'm curious of, and it's also in the tribal circuitry too, which I think is
Mhm.
also interesting in thinking of like the ancestral or like the I didn't have to live this to know this. It's within kind of that yeah, the
Like
genes.
genetic memory. Yeah.
Yes, yes. And I've also heard of it as like people who have gate 44 just need to handshake with somebody. You know, it's like the
Mm.
handshake kind of helps communicate, are they for me, are they not for me?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's interesting.
And then I've also heard it referred to as like the HR manager, kind of similar to
Yeah.
your point of I know if this person can be trusted or their motives or, you know, the quality of energy that they're bringing. Yeah, is it for me or not?
Yeah, that I've definitely seen. I mean, I worked in human resources for a little while.
Ah.
Um, I've been in multiple managerial positions or leadership positions where like the managing of people
Mm.
is something I've had to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I was working with a journeyman once while I was an apprentice, and we were trying to troubleshoot
Mm.
something, and he picked up on like I was gently sort of like trying to suggest without suggesting, like, and he's like, you're really good at this. Like he picked up on that part of it, and I kind of see the 44 as being that
Mm.
too, like gently. This isn't like my idea. I'm not saying
Uh-huh.
what we should do.
Interesting.
But I guess that kind of is part of what the 44 does with the 26 is
Yep.
like, you know, not infringing upon your ego, but if we could like gently steer
Mm-hmm.
you
Yeah. Yeah.
this way.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, as part of the transmitting channel. Yeah. What I'm curious to explore next with you is how you've understood your 28 gate that's considered to be deaf. And I'm wondering if that's something you track, is that something you know for yourself and how it maybe plays out?
I think it's honestly pretty simple and straightforward
Mm.
in the sense that um, I'm not going to listen to other people's ideas about what would make my life purposeful,
Uh-huh.
what I should fight for. Like I'm just not open to it.
Uh-huh.
Um, and that is definitely where that stubborn quality comes
Ah.
across.
Mm.
People, I think, definitely feel that from me of like closed,
Mm-hmm.
not interested in hearing um, that part of it because it's an internal process. Like I will know
Uh-huh.
when something is the right fight for me, and anything else is just meaningless struggle.
Well, and it's so interesting back to what I was reflecting on in how you're speaking about Gate 27. It's like, now I want to check myself. Because your 28 is Oh, it's a 6 too. Okay, here we
Mm.
go. Because I'm like, you are like in the mature angle of this 28. Like, there, like, I'll say for me, like, I don't feel the confidence that I hear in you
Mm.
around my individuality. Because 28, 38, individual circuitry. I have deaf in my 43, 23. Mine's unconscious, yours is conscious, but I hear you very confident or very clear in yourself, around what's right for me and what's not right for me. And I'm 53. I don't have that same, I don't have it. So anyway, I'm sensing potentially a reflection of, wow, you're embodying the role model, the sage, the sixth, like right now. Like, hell yeah, sister.
Oh,
No, I
do
mean,
not make, I mean, I don't know. We we got a ways to go.
yeah, 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 yeah. That's my experience of you is you have a clarity around these qualities in your chart that really land as, yeah, unfiltered, clear, true. This is my knowing. This is what I know. And I guess to continue on the deaf piece a little bit, I've had an exploration with my 43 deafness is I can sometimes be deaf to myself. Have you ever been deaf to yourself?
I mean, I've ignored myself. I don't,
Uh,
but I wouldn't, I don't know if I'd call it the same thing. Can you explain more about what you mean?
yeah, it's like maybe it's akin to ignoring. It's kind of like I have an awareness, because these are happening in awareness centers, and I'm
Hmm.
like, nah, not yet. I'm not done with this. Nah. Maybe my third line is like, I'm on the ride and I'm going to keep going. And I'm just going to keep saying this thing, even though I think it might be shit. I'm still going. Don't take me off this ride. And I'm like, la, 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 la. And then at some point, it's almost like, it's interesting. It plays out for me sometimes where I'm like, there's an inner knowing that's starting to bubble, but I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet stopping the behavior. I'm not done yet because I know once I articulate it, I can't lie to myself.
Hmm.
So I don't know if that helps kind of explain what I mean about being deaf to myself.
That feels a little different.
Okay.
You know, I don't have anything from the ajna to the throat. So it's not like a mental
Mm.
thing. Hmm. Where I can override myself pretty easily is just because it's splenic.
Uh,
Um, and it's subtle. A lot of times, when something's not for me, it will just be like a sense of like uneasiness, like just like not feeling totally like settled.
uh,
Um, and that can be pretty easy to ignore for all sorts of reasons. And then, um, and then I will always have the experience of like, knew it, like I knew it. Which I think is pretty typical for a lot of splenic authorities. Like,
yeah.
just, yeah, ignoring yourself to your own detriment. And especially, I think, with it being the 20, yeah, the 38, 28, because if I ignore that,
Mm.
then there's no purpose in the struggle. So
Ah,
it's just struggle.
yeah.
And I get to have that experience.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's almost like I'm hearing myself, like I'm not a fan of somebody doing I told you so's, but to do an I told you so to myself would be like extra, no thanks. Well, I'm curious to transition us to the movie topic. So,
Sure.
yeah, just to kind of offer it here for those, if this is your first time with this podcast, is I had such a love affair with a podcast that's um, no longer in production, it doesn't seem, called This Movie Changed Me. And being such a movie person, I'm always curious about people's experience with movies. So, to you, Deena, what's a movie that changed you and how did it change you? What was its impact?
Sure. So the somewhere in the 1970s, so 1970s version of The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, and it's animated.
Oh.
And we had that on video when I was a kid. So I remember um, me and my brother and my sister all watching this movie like multiple times.
Huh.
And I had watched this before I ever read any of the books.
Uh-huh.
So this was like my first experience with that. And it sets a whole mood. I mean, like, you'll have to go watch it. But like the music in the beginning, and it's
Ah.
raining when it starts out, and it just gets you into like this very mysterious sort of space.
Huh.
Um, and there's definitely something there. There's like so many layers. There's something there for sure about, layers of worlds and
Mm.
things that are unseen. That's definitely a part of it. But there's, I would say, two bigger parts for me. And the first one being Edmund's whole journey as, meeting the queen and having all these like kind of crappy feelings towards his siblings and then like betraying them. Um, and then the redemption from that. Um, Edmund's journey throughout that movie gave me a blueprint
Mm.
for what it can look like when your prodigal journey includes being an absolute jerk,
Oh.
particularly to your family, and
Ah.
how the only way for that to really end is like just truly like humility and like knowing that
Ah.
everything you did was like crap and like that no one should forgive you and just
Ah.
like letting like all you can do is be humble and also but also not like keep beating yourself up and then
Mm.
becoming like a martyr and a victim like of your own guiltiness,
Mm.
like to accept it, to
Mm.
be humble about it,
Mm.
and and to then move on and
Mm.
like take your lessons and like restart life basically.
Wow.
So that was like huge. I mean, and I didn't even know that at the time that I would need that, but I remember watching it so many times and like, defeating the White Witch was like secondary to
Ah.
me in terms of like Edmund's whole storyline. And then seeing him at the end, like seated with his brothers and sisters and like he's matured and they're on good terms. And that's no longer a thing. It's not a
Ah.
thing that anyone needs to even discuss anymore. Um,
Wow.
so yeah. And then second piece is just the professor. The professor is so much a 6'2" to me. Like I
Ah.
want to be the
Ah.
professor from The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Like he's so like sort of weird, but also wise, and like you don't even really know like what does he know? Like does
Huh.
he know more, or is he actually kind of maybe just a little crazy? Like can we trust him? I'm like that's the 6'2" I want to be.
Oh, wow. Yeah, as you were describing, I've not seen the movie. I think I've seen the books, but it's not something that I know the storyline very well. But as you were describing Edmund's humility and the journey at the end of, everybody embraces him and, the past was the past. I'm hearing a six-line journey. And then to hear you reference the professor, like, yeah,
Yeah.
How sweet. Like I'm blown away at times at these moments in our experiences, like what we bump into, or, what's in our pathways that really are here to support us, that maybe at the face of it isn't so obvious or so clear. But like I referenced before, my grandma's, being with her on her death journey. And like, I've got a video of her when she was 70 and she's like singing to us Frank Sinatra's My Way. And that was the song that helped her transition. Like she started her steps into her deeper journey with the transition. And, it wasn't until she had passed that the song, just as you were speaking to, of like how the beyond comes and visits us after, the song just kept coming forward. And for some reason, I was in a somber place as I was listening to these replays of a song that I could probably sing because I heard it so much from her. She's like, listen to this, kid. Not really, but that was kind of the energy. And the song lyrics are basically, and now the time is near. And it was like she was preparing us for death. And
Wow.
it's just, it warms me from like a, pour milk on the inside of me. And so to hear you speak about the movie, it's like how there are these opportunities or these intersections that want to love us up. And are we hearing it? Are we listening to it? Are we open to it? And if not, that's okay. We'll get more chances. We'll get more opportunities. Yeah. So really beautiful to hear you unpack the book or the movie and the story.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Deena, this has been such a delight. I am so grateful. I followed my intuition to be like, you want to be on the show? Yeah.
I am really glad you did too. You are like you radiate joy, and
Oh,
it was
good.
a pleasure.
Oh, good. Good. Yeah, it's funny when I'm in class with people, I'm kind of like, I'm not like this out in the real world. I don't like unzip all
But
of
why
my stuff.
not?
Oh, good. Because I feel like I'm a mess when I'm in class. I'm like, here's
No,
all
I
my
love it.
snats. What are the snats about, everybody? What's going on?
I think everyone loves it.
Oh, that's so kind. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, and before we say goodbye, like, is there a way you want people to interact with you? If not, that's okay. I read your bio that you're like, try to find me. But anyway, I can cut that part out, but I wanted to give you an opportunity if you wanted to be like, I offer readings, like whatever that is, please tell me.
Sure. Yeah, I don't have like a specific offering right now,
Mm.
but I'm open to working with people or groups.
Oh,
Um, I mean, certainly, actually we kind of skipped this part. Like if there's anything, if you're homeschooling or
ah,
parenting and you feel like you could use support, if you
yeah.
want to look at stuff in your own chart, if you want to go on a journey of looking at things and telling stories, I'm really good at listening to the stories. So I'm available for that, but you won't find any specific offerings right now. I'm primarily focused on homeschool and just enriching my own learning journey.
Great.
But my Instagram is brass burgundy, so you can message me there. I
Great.
had to have an Instagram in order to see the menu of my favorite local restaurant, and that continues to be the reason. But that's where you can find me.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.